Hello everyone. We're back with the walrus and the carpenter. This is our third video today and we've completed all these verses and we're going to move now to the last three verses. We already know that the walrus and the carpenter were fooling the oysters all along, and all they were doing were tricking them because they wanted to devour them. So let's look at the stanza that says something about the trick that they had played. It seems a shame, the walrus said, to play them such a trick after we've brought them out so far and made them trot so quick. The carpenter said nothing, but the butter spread too thick. All the carpenter could think about was the butter and the oysters that he was eating. But the walrus spoke of the trick that they had played on the oysters that were so innocent. I weep for you, the walrus said. The walrus seems to be a little sympathetic and says, I deeply sympathize. With sobs and tears, he sorted out those of the largest size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes. Now we see that the walrus, a little compassionate person, feeling for the oysters rather sympathetically, he cries. Here the word sobs means to cry. And as the tears flow down his eyes, he's still busy sorting out the largest oysters to be eaten. And then, while doing that, he has eyes that are flowing and brimming with tears as he's feeling a little remorseful what he is doing. "Oh, oysters," said the carpenter, "you've had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again?" But answer came there none, and this was scarcely odd, because they'd eaten every one. Here in the stanza, the carpenter rather sarcastically asks the oysters whether they would be willing to trot back home, and asked them if they had a pleasant run. But the oysters couldn't answer back because they had been devoured by the carpenter and the walrus. Here the word trot means to run with small quick steps. The other word that we see here is scarcely, which means hardly. And it didn't seem really very odd because they had eaten every single one of the oysters that had gone on a walk with them. Now we come to the end of the poem and we look that the poetic devices in this part of it, and also we look at the punctuations that are used here and also the rhyme. You can see questions have been asked and exclamations have been made. Here, if you see there is an enjambment. With sobs and tears he sorted out those of the largest size. And you can also see that there is a rhyme scheme here. Alternate lines. You can see the rhyme scheme. Trick, quick, thick. Yes. And the enjambment too. You can see the enjambment. The carpenter said nothing, but the butter spread too thick. There's conversation here. Oh, oysters, said the carpenter. You've had a pleasant run. And there's exclamations too. Shall we be trotting home again? But answer came there none. There's a dash, which means it's more to be said ahead. And this was scarcely odd, because they'd eaten every one. This last line, and this was scarcely odd, because they'd eaten every one. Here too you see an enjambment. In the earlier class I told you what an enjambment is. An enjambment is when a line and its meaning goes on to the next line in the stanza. Okay, it's incomplete because they'd eaten every one, and moves on to the next line. Thank you everyone. I hope you enjoyed the poem with me, and I'll be seeing you with yet another poem very soon. Thank you. Thank you for watching Edu Next English.